I wrote that his words in reaction to the Tulo situation were totally uncalled for.
Yes,
that wasn't
I would agree with that.
That wasn't a guy that showed up here and was Mr. Softy here. He was a guy going, we control Tulowitzki, not him or his agent. He's going through this stuff. Really, you want to piss off? To use that word again, you want to piss off Tulowitzki, who wants out of here?
All right, let's deal with that. Let's deal with that. The Tulowitzki situation and how Jeff Bridich reacted. Number one, Jeff was wrong about that.
That's what I wrote.
Absolutely.
That's what
Tulo's agent is the one who started that firestorm.
It wasn't a media creation that he said.
It was not a media production.
No, it wasn't.
It was Tulo's agent.
He says, I want, and here was the funny part of that. Bridich said, oh, this is a media production that was started on the East Coast. Major League Baseball, MLB.com. Baseball owns MLB.com.
Yeah.
That's not the media. That is an arm of Major League Baseball. So if that's Thomas Harding, who is not on the East Coast, he's the one who did an interview with Jeff Bridich. He didn't even get the location of the guy that wrote the piece that was an interview with him where he asked a question. Thomas Harding said, what about Tulo and Cargo? Is that a media production? Is that, as he called it, badgering?
Well, it was also the New York Post.
The players?
The New York Post also quoted the agent.
Well, the MLB report that was original was on Monday, had nothing to do with Tulo wanting out of town.
Yeah.
Then it's a New York Post story where the writer, and I reached out to him, said, what about Tulo? Why is the New York Post doing this story? Because people in New York still want Tulowitzki to come there.
Yeah.
Okay, Bridich just was totally clueless of what he's talking about. Blame the media. Oh, wow, that's great. Blame me. Throw rocks at me.
I'll tell you where else he was wrong. He was wrong when he said Tulo has no control over the situation.
That's what
we
I'm saying.
do.
That's what I just said.
Totally wrong.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why it's totally wrong. Yes, Tulo has a rock-solid contract, and the Rockies do control him through, I think, 2021, I think is the year. But the fact of the matter is in sports, and folks, you got to remember something, sports is a totally different animal. Players, especially great players, do have leverage in a situation.
Don't talk to folks. Talk to me. I'm here.
They do have leverage.
I don't know whether they're there.
They do have leverage. Players always have leverage in sports because if they're unhappy and they want out, teams don't want those types of guys to stick around. It's destructive to have guys like that in the clubhouse or on the field for you. It just doesn't work.
They have control. What if Tulowitzki came out on Friday or comes out this week and says, you know, I just don't want to play here.
Yeah.
I don't want to play here anymore.
Trade me.
Yeah, I want to be traded.
Tulo has some control. He does. Despite what the contract says.
Because then what happens is Dick Monfort and Jeff Bridich are sitting there with a very unhappy player, which he already is, who has told the public and told everybody else, I don't want to stay here. He has control over his life. Oh, yeah, they can make him stay here, but
what good is that going to do anybody?
Yeah.
It doesn't do anybody any good.
So,
and that's why, guys, we've seen it forever. When a player is unhappy, teams move the player. It's that simple. They have to.
And he says, and that the agent has no control. Well, that is totally untrue, too. We have seen Scott Boras make deals and make things happen behind the scenes. I don't know Cohen. I don't know anything about his history, but I think he can call around and say, you know, would you like to have, he can call general managers. He talks to general managers all the time and say, you know, Tulo is unhappy. Why don't you reach out to the Rockies? So that was a stupid statement. The media you said one thing. The media creation, that's stupid. It did come from the agent.
I think Jeff was frustrated, Woody. This is the first time Bridich is going through anything like this. He's only been a general manager for a few months. He's frustrated by it. His team is losing. His team is garnering all kinds of criticism. His star player is making noise, or at least his agent is, that he might want out. This is a frustrating time for Bridich. He's a young general manager, and he probably doesn't quite yet know how to handle something like this. More Rockies talk in a second. That segment was sponsored by John Elway Chevrolet, Colorado's #1 Chevrolet dealer.